everybody, it is Julie. Welcome back to Pages and Pens. Today I am here with another book haul revisit. You guys seem to really like my first one. I'm excited to do it again. So I'm going to go over a book haul that I had on October 4th. And it wasn't too many books. It was only 15, but one was a box set, so technically 18 individual books. So we're going to go over them. I'm going to let you know what I've read, what I have not read still, what I thought of the ones that I read, if I've unhauled any of them, and just give you a basic revisit of that haul so that you can get some general thoughts after the fact on some of these books. I will link the original video up above, but the first book that I hauled in that particular haul was Peter Pan. Peter Pan's not actually in this because it's in my car. I thought I could read it on the go, but I ended up listening to it in audiobook, so you know. But this is the edition that I have, Peter Pan by J.M. Barrie, and I did read this in audiobook, not particularly this form, but I gave it 4 stars. I really enjoyed it. So first book of the haul, and I read it, so that's a win for me. Then I have Frost Like Night, which is like way up there and buried underneath Pops and a ton of stuff, but that is the second book, I think, or the third in the Snow Like Ashes series by Sarah Roche, but I have not read that series yet, obviously. Then I had A Shadow Bright and Burning by Jessica Cluess, and I did read that, and I've also unhauled it since then. I did not care for that book, so unfortunately, it just didn't work for me. So that ended up being a 2-star read for me. I just thought it had a lot more potential. It really didn't grip me. The characters didn't grip me. I ended up being pretty bored with it, so no thank you. Then I had the Grisha trilogy, and I have officially read all of them, which is awesome. So when I originally went through, I hadn't yet. When I originally went through this list to see what I had read, I hadn't read them yet, but I'm able to count them now because I read them. You guys know that. And you can look soon for a review on these, but I gave the first book a 4-star, and then Shadow and Bone is the first book. I gave a 4-star, and then a 3-star to the other 2. So it was Siege and Storm, and then Ruin and Rising. But I'm glad that I finally read these books, and I was relatively happy with the series on a whole. I mean, not super overwhelmed. Outlander by Diana Gabaldon, and I have not read this. I considered reading it for Tome Topple, and then quickly decided that was just ridiculous because I knew I wasn't going to do that. So this one was unread. A Caress of Twilight, Laurell K. Hamilton. This is the second of the Mary Gentry series, which is not a spin-off, but just another series by Laurell K. Hamilton, who also wrote the Anita Blake Vampire Hunter series. This one is about Fae and Fae royalty and Fae courts. So I read the first book in ebook, I believe, and then I picked this one up in case I liked the first one enough, so I figured I would just pick this one up. It was a couple bucks, and it was significantly less than the ebook, so I figured I would deal with the mass market paperback for, you know, significant savings. Then I have a series that I did read, Shatter Me, Unravel Me, Ignite Me by Tahereh Mafi. So this is the Shatter Me series, and it was all right. Not a huge fan of Juliet, not a huge fan of Adam, super team Warner, but overall, I'm sorry guys, my eyes are watering, and my allergies are just so bad right now. So if you see me like tearing up, I'm not getting emotional over the books. I just legitimately cannot handle my allergies. The writing was super, super prosy and flowery in Shatter Me, and I thought that I was just not going to be a fan of Tahereh Mafi's writing, but I ended up being okay with the series in general, but not like super overwhelmed. So this was a 3-star read, 4-star read, 4-star read. All the Light We Cannot See by Anthony Doerr, and this is along the same vein as Outlander. I just don't want to read it. And I picked it up because everybody was talking about it, but at the end of the day, I just have no interest. And I know it's amazing, and I get that, but I just don't want to read it. So maybe an audiobook eventually, but not anytime soon. Then I had Milk and Honey, which I had, and I just legitimately cannot find, but you know what it looks like. I'm not even putting up a picture because you get it. But that was like a 2-star read for me. I was not a fan of that poetry at all, so no thank you. First 5-star of this group, and this is The Strange and Beautiful Sorrows of Ava Lavender by Leslie Walton, and this is absolutely fantastic, beautiful. It's like magical realism. It's Big Fish meets books. It's dark and troubling, but so beautiful and gorgeously written, and I loved this book so much. I have, I think, a full discussion on this. If I do, I'll link it up above. If not, just know it's amazing. You should read it. An Ember in the Ashes, which I have read, my April book club book of the month, and I really enjoyed this. So this is my first experience with Sabatier's writing, and I'm really excited to pick up the second one, but it might be a little while because I have another series that I started before finishing this one, and I know that we still are expecting other books in this series that aren't published yet, but I will be continuing with this series because I really enjoyed it. This was a 4-star read for me. Such a brutal world, but gorgeously written. And then I have It Ends With Us by Colleen Hoover and Ugly Love by Colleen Hoover, and really did enjoy It Ends With Us. I thought it was gorgeously handled. It was very deep, very dark at times, but I think, not that it excuses some of her other problematic work, but I think it finally handles some of the problematic situations. In this, she finally handles them correctly, at least according to what I have heard. 4-star read for me. And then Ugly Love was a 3-star read for me. This one as well, people had some issues with the relationship in this being slightly problematic because it was one of those, we're only going to be casual sex partners, we are not going to be in a relationship. One person clearly falls, the other person does not, and there's a lot of emotional turmoil and a misbalance of power. However, I've seen myself and friends of mine in situations like this. It's relatable, it's real. That's sometimes how relationships work, especially when you're still like learning to navigate the waters of relationships. Should this be a model for how relationships go? No. But is it realistic? Yes. But I understand also some of the controversy when it surrounds Colleen Hoover and her writing. This one was a 3-star read for me, and I liked it okay, but I didn't fall in love with her writing enough to continue on with her books. So that was all 15 of the books. I'm gonna call them 18 books because of the trilogy, because of the box set that I got. So of these 18 books, I have read 14 of them, which means I've only got 4 books left unread in this particular haul, and that is Crest of Twilight, which is something I will get to eventually, and then All the Light We Cannot See, and Outlander, which I do not have any desire to pick up anytime soon, and then the Snow Like Ashes trilogy, but specifically for this haul, it was Frost Like Night. So those are the only books. So honestly, a really impressive haul revisit for me, much better than my first one, but that one was also larger. But I've read a large majority, well over half, 3/4 of these books, so I'm really happy with myself. I feel like it's money well spent if it's books that I'm actually reading, and I've only unhauled one of these books. If you like these kinds of haul revisits, and I hope you do because I really enjoy making them for you, go ahead and give me a big thumbs up, click subscribe, and I will see all of you in my next video. Bye guys.